My name's Courtney, and I've been a personal trainer for a little over 4 years, and I'm also a nutrition coach as well. I've been a nutrition coach for over 2 years, and how I started into fitness was I had lived in North Carolina, and I lived there for a major part of my life, and when I was 12, my dad got a huge promotion and we moved back to New York. And New York is nothing like North Carolina. It is completely different. It's colder most of the year compared to it was in North Carolina. I lived in between 2 golf courses. I had a house where I could go up and down the stairs. I had neighbors. We used to play tag all the way up until I was like 12 years old. And then when we moved back to New York, it was kind of different. I went to school and I had no friends, right? There was no kids to go and play with after school and go run in the fields. I had lived in a house to now an apartment. So during that time, I gained really bad habits and I gained a bit of weight, right? I was eating ice cream and chips before dinner, and I thought I had no friends because of my weight gain. So I was really hard on myself, and it got to a point where I would look at myself in the mirror and I would just cry. I would cry. I would grab the fat. I know we've all been there before, looking in the mirror. And at a point, I had done this so many times where I was actually just tired of the same thing, like walking up to the mirror and just being sad. Like, I was just tired of it. I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I did. Everyone knows who Shaun is? Yeah. Okay, Shaun T's Insanity Challenge. I did that for a month, and that's kind of what kickstarted everything for me. And I went off to do sports in high school, so I was active most of the year, cheerleading, lacrosse, and then I eventually got introduced to a gym in my junior year of high school, and I went that one day, and I went every single day after that for years. I was obsessed. I was fascinated. I was fascinated by bodybuilders and this whole new world that I had never knew before, and I loved that it was so. It's like yourself, right? You're working on yourself when you go into the gym. When you guys are working on yourself when you come here, right? So I noticed that, and I was working out so much, doing so much research, that in high school I would be in class and the kids would ask me to make them a plan for their workout after school. So I was like, okay, I can make money from this. So after I had graduated, I got my certification right away and worked at a gym when I was 18, and I've been doing it ever since. I did a bodybuilding competition when I was 18, so I was always in that space. So that's just a little bit of a background on me. And I just wanted, and now I do tons of things. I personal train, I go to people's houses, I travel deep into Nassau, Queens, out in Suffolk, do Zoom sessions, I do online coaching programs, so it's kind of just where my life has led me to, and I'm very grateful for it. But I wanted to tell you guys how you can reach your goals and the Bulletproof Plan, all right? So that's what I'm gonna go over now. So I don't mean to like turn my back to you guys, but so this is the Bulletproof Plan. If you do this, you will get what you want, right? Like, if you have the goal to lose 20 pounds, if you follow this plan, you win. It's a bulletproof plan. There's no not getting there. If you do it, you get the result that you want. So this is the Bulletproof Plan, and I do this with all of my clients. Someone comes to me, they're super excited because they just got that like wind of motivation. I need to lose 20 pounds. I have a wedding coming up. I have vacation. I need to lose this weight, right? So I just say, okay, we're gonna start off with an evaluation. Let me get to know you a little bit better, right? I don't throw you right to a meal plan. I don't know anything about you. That wouldn't be accurate, right? So I get to put you through an evaluation. And the first evaluation that I give you is a 3-day dietary journal. And what you do is you write down everything you eat for 3 days, and it's not biased. You're not trying to eat healthy. You're not throwing in a salad when you normally wouldn't. You're eating how you normally would eat on a daily basis. And what that tells me, it gives me an unbiased view of how your current eating habits are. And I can make a proper judgment, and we can go from there. So you do that for 3 days, and if you can't write down what you eat for 3 days, well, you sure can't handle a meal plan then, right? So that's the first step. And then also I pair it with a questionnaire, and you answer the questionnaire thoroughly. You tell me your past diet history. Maybe you did some yo-yo dieting, or you tried keto once and it worked for you for a little bit, but then it didn't work for you after. And yeah, so that's how I do my evaluation. And on my evaluation, I have a really important question on there. And the question is, what are you willing to do to work towards this goal? And usually, I would say 99% of the time, everyone says anything. I will do anything to get to my goal. You tell me to do something, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get to that goal, right? It's always anything. Sometimes you have people who are like, I'm not gonna give up my coffee in the morning, not that they would need to anyway, but, or I want my glass of wine here and there, and that's totally fine too. But most part, everyone's like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to reach my goal. And from there, we go into the next step, right? I look at this 3-day dietary journal, I take a look at it, I see little things. I see, maybe you're not eating all throughout the day, you're holding back calories in the beginning of the day, by the end of the day, all your calories are there. Maybe I notice you're not eating protein, maybe there's no vegetables. I just pick pieces here and there, and I create a narrative for that prospective client. And with that, I tell them what I see, and if they agree and they're like, yes, that's me, then from there, we decide to work together. Right? And when we decide to work together, I give them an option, and this is all up to them. Do they want to take the stricter approach, the short term, quicker, more proof, maybe even more bulletproof than this one, but it's not. It seems that way. So that would be a macro and a meal plan, right? That's short term, sticking to something really strict. Or do they choose to do a master behavior? So let's say they don't really have any nutrition skills at all. And maybe I look at their plan and again, they're just eating processed foods. Well, there's something to start with. It's more wholesome foods. And maybe we say for breakfast, make sure that you have protein in your breakfast. And that's a goal. That's a master behavior. And if they can nail eating protein for breakfast every day, that's how we track that, right? So they can pick whatever they want. They could do the macro meal plan, which most people fail anyway because it's hard. Or they can do the short-term master the behavior. Once they master behavior, they go into the next behavior, right? Mastery of skills. Both are fine though, and both work indefinitely, right? So there's something that happens here, and there's only 3 outcomes that can happen, and we're gonna use an example of just someone who's trying to lose weight, okay? We're just gonna make that because that's the most common. Your goals might be different, you might be just trying to build muscle, whatever. There's 3 things that can happen. Your weight either goes up, it goes down, or it stays the same, and there's nothing you can do to change that. It goes up, it goes down, or it stays the same. So if your weight goes up and you're trying to lose weight and I give you macros, I give you calories to eat for the day and your weight goes up, what does that tell me? I have to cut back your calories, right? Because now your weight's going up. If it stays the same, I call it the sweet spot because now if I give you more food, you're going to gain weight, and if I take away food, you're automatically going to lose weight because at the end of the day, calories in or calories out, that is how you lose weight, and everyone knows that. There's no changing that. You can't change it. Or you drop a lot of weight and I'm like, whoa, this is too fast, this is too rapid, and I give you a little bit more food and we slow down the weight loss and we get it to where it goes down steady. And that's always the perfect spot, right? You always want to lose weight steadily. Again, vice versa, if you're trying to gain weight, it's the same thing, just backwards, all right? So we have the weight goes up, it goes down, it stays the same. And again, we know that calories in versus calories out, that's the rule, right? So we get this cycle. All right, we have a regimen, we have a plan for the client to follow, right? So I give you the regimen, I create the regimen. Then we have the plan so that the client follows. And when the client follows that plan, it gives me data, whether it's, scale weight's just easy to say. It could be tape measurements, right? It could be progress pictures, whatever it is, data is data. So then I get data from the client following the plan. With that, I can evaluate as your coach what the next regimen is going to be. Do we keep doing the 4 ounces of protein for dinner? Do we keep following the same plan? Do we have to cut carbs? Like, there's always, I make the next step. So that's where I come in and I can take that stress away. But it doesn't mean that you can't be a coach for yourself. You just have to look at it objectively, right? So you have the regimen, you follow the plan, data, evaluate. If you can continue to do this, you win. You get what you want. That's it, every single time. And again, you can be your own coach and you can be there for yourself. It's not saying that you have to get someone else either. But again, it will work every single time. So how does a bulletproof plan, how come most people can't do it? Well, why does it not work, right? Why does the plan not work? I'm sure you guys have all been there before where you're trying to do something, right? And that scale's not going down or you're not happy with your changes. You guys are all coming here and you're working out, so I'm sure you guys have mastered some sort of discipline to get your workouts in. But nutrition's a little bit more trickier. Would you guys say that nutrition is harder to master than working out is? And if it is, raise your hand. 1000%, right? It's so different. It's a different demon because you can come here and you can work out for an hour, but what are you doing the rest of the day, right? It's constant. And it's not that you can't eat, because you have to eat. So you always have to focus on, when am I going to eat? When am I going to eat? It's all the time. You have to prepare for it sometimes too, right? You have to cook for your family. Like, food is around you. You go to parties, everything, it's there. Again, so obviously nutrition is always going to be harder than working out, always. So why does it not work? All right, the Bulletproof Plan, everyone knows the plan, it works every single time. Why do most people fail, right? Because there's people who win and there's people who lose, and most of the time, I would say 95% of the time people lose, right? 5% they win. And there's 3 things that you want to keep in mind throughout the rest of the things I'm going to say. We all have a goal, right? The thing that we want to achieve, the thing that we want to get. We have an environment, and we can't control our environment, right? We can't control our environment. Maybe you have kids that you have to take care of. Well, you're not going to get rid of your kids, and they want to have mac and cheese. You're not going to say you can't have mac and cheese, right? These are things that you can't control. You can't control that you work a job 10 hours a day. That's an obstacle, right? Your environment, all it is just obstacles that you're going to have to deal with. They're there, and you're going to have to find a way to still do what you need to do. And then we can control ourselves, right? So that's the last one, and that's going to be the most important one. But I'm going to give you 4 different types of people, okay? So again, we have people who win and we have people who lose. So I'm going to give you 4 different types of people. Person A, and all these people actually, by the way, they come to me super excited. They're the people that everyone says, like I told you, every time, I can't wait to do this. They give me money because they want to do this, right? And then they're super excited, saying they're willing to do anything. All these people say that. These next 4 people, they all say this in the beginning. All right, so person A comes to me, same beginning like I just stated. I give them the regimen, and they take that regimen, super excited about it. They go to the grocery store, they got everything, where they're ready to go. They get 2 days in, all right? And with my nutrition coaching, you check in with me every 3 days, because again, nutrition is a different beast. Every 3 days, your job is to check in with me. So after 2 days, they do what they need to do, right? And then it gets challenging, right? Either their environment gets tough and they just can't stick to it, or, oh, I have an event to go to. Nonetheless, they go through 2 days perfect. That last day, they lost, right? And then what happens usually? They can follow the plan for 3 days. They can't follow the plan for the rest of the 4 days of the week. They've lost. They have not completed what they need to do. They stop at this cycle. They don't get through this whole thing. They stop there. They can't even follow the plan. Then there's person B, and person B has the same thing. They come in super excited. I'm willing to do everything I can to get to this goal. I give them the regimen, and they follow the plan, and they follow it for a whole week. They follow it for a whole week, and they do perfect. And then what happens is the scale doesn't work in their favor. So now they didn't get the result that they wanted to. And what happens there? I'm a loser. I can't do this. My body hates me. My environment's too challenging. How come I was able to do all of this work? This week I was perfect. That scale should have worked in my favor. They had high expectations and they didn't get the result that they wanted, right? They did the work, it didn't work, but then they put emotion behind the data, and that was the problem. So then what happens there? You start saying those things to yourself. That's your reality, right? They give up. Done. That person is the same person as person A. They got a little bit further. They got an extra 4 days in. They still lost. At the end of it, they lost. So then we have the third person, person C, and you guys may know this person C. It could be family or friends or people you try to get to come to Orange Theory and they don't want to come. It's people who don't want to help themselves, right? They'll complain about it. They'll complain that they're not where they want to be, but they don't even take the action. Maybe they don't even come to me or anything at all, right? They don't even get to the evaluation process, right? Or maybe they do, they even hand me money, and then they just don't even do it at all. I give them the regimen, they neglect it, and they choose not to do it, right? They lost. They didn't even follow the plan. They just got the regimen, they paid for it, and that was it, and they lost. A, B, and C, they're all the same people. All the same people. Then we have person D, and person D, I give them the regimen, same thing, super excited, can't wait. They follow the plan, like they were told, because that's what they signed up for. They got through all of their environmental factors, right? Got through all of their challenges, still followed the plan. Then they get the result, right? The data, what happened? And all it is to them, it's just information, right? It's just information. Because they're not going to get emotional about it, because again, I can't change anything about the plan unless I get the results as a coach, right? So what does this tell me? It tells me what we need to do next. It's just the next step. There's no emotion to it. It's just we need to know what the data is first in order to make the best guess or best regimen next, right? So that would be what happens with person D. They get their regimen, they follow the plan, they get the data. Maybe it works in their favor, maybe it doesn't, but they don't care because that data, it goes to me anyway, and I make the next regimen, right? I evaluate it, we make another regimen, and we go through the same cycle. And if you can, like I said in the beginning, if you can go through this cycle and keep going and going and going, you follow all these processes, weight goes up, weight goes down, stays the same, you keep doing it, you win. Because if you can follow this, you've won, and you can continuously win, right? So A, B, and C, they've lost. Person D has won every single time, right? And they all had the same thing. They were all super excited. Their goal, they all had the goal that they wanted to achieve. Maybe there were different goals, but we're just going to say weight loss for this. They all have environmental factors, and we all know, I mean, this is life in general. You know, we get the cards that we're given, right? And some people's environments may be harder than others, but we all have an environment that we have to work around, and we all have our own objectives to work around as well, okay? Then we have ourselves, and that's something you can control, right? Because you can't control your environment, but you can control yourself, all right? And that's the most important thing. So the thing that separates person A, B, and C from person D is one thing, and that's your attitude. It's always going to be your attitude. Person A, B, and C, they gave up on themselves. They criticized themselves. Maybe they stood in the mirror and they started grabbing their stomach, oh my gosh, I got to get rid of this is awful. Or I'm going, I have all these kids to take care of, I have work to take care of, it's so stressful, I can't do this. It's always the same thing, I just can't do this. And person D, they have nothing like that at all, because all it is just information. They just keep doing the work, they get the information, and they keep moving on, and they keep getting it better and better. So if you want to win, and not only in working out, eating right, everything, you just have to have a winner's attitude, always. You hold your head up high. So I'm gonna read a quote. It's my favorite quote. It's by Mark Douglas. He's a coach for people who trade lots of money in the stock market. And I'm gonna read what his definition of a winner's attitude is, okay? So a winning attitude: a positive expectation of your efforts with an acceptance that whatever results you get are a perfect reflection of your level of development and what you need to learn to do better, all right? So a positive expectation of your efforts, you're following the plan, with an acceptance that whatever results you get, the data that comes back from it, that whatever results you get are a perfect reflection of your level of development, what you need to work on, right? And what you need to learn to do better, right? And again, all of that follows the same cycle here. So what separates A, B, and C from D is just having the winner's attitude. So you're gonna have a goal, right? You wanna win that goal, right? You have a goal to win. You're gonna have an environment where you're gonna have to take actions, winner's actions on a daily basis, right? To get there, you're gonna have to act like a winner. And then you have yourself, right? So you don't get the results you want, you still hold your head up high and you keep moving forward, right? You act like you win. And that's how you succeed in anything, and just working out, like I said, working out, nutrition, life, business, everything else is just by having a different attitude about it. That is it. And if you guys have any questions, you can ask. Also, too, I'm recording this. I'm gonna post it on Instagram. If you have Instagram, it's Courtney O Fitness, so you can follow me on there. Yeah. Any questions? Good.
Any questions for her?
What do you think is the best pre and post workout nutrition?
For nutrition, we definitely, so everyone's different, and that's really hard to give an answer. Generally, though, you want to have some sort of you want to eat the most of your food around your workout for the day, because that's where your energy is being used the most, right? It's being exhausted the most. So all meals should have a balance in protein, fats, and carbs, no matter what. Each meal should have that, and I totally believe in that. But before a workout, protein and carbs definitely gonna be most important, and then after a workout, just all three. Just the most food that you eat throughout your day should be around your workout.
And is there a time frame before and after?
I would say like 1 to 2 hours before. You definitely don't want to have that feeling of food in your stomach. I'm sure when you're sprinting or doing the rower, right? So it's figuring out what works best for you. A lot of people don't like to eat a lot before they work out. Some people, like if you work out early in the morning, you might feel nauseous if you eat before. So just finding out what works best for you. There is no like right or wrong answer, just as long as you're getting in, again, like I said, proteins, carbs, fats, a mixture of everything. But if you're working out at 6 a.m., you might not want to eat a huge balanced meal right beforehand. So just knowing your schedule and your lifestyle, making the best decision from there.
What about water?
Water, like how much you should get?
Right.
So everyone says like the gallon per day, right? I don't believe in a gallon per day. I think it's a little excessive. Generally, if you can get in 2.8 liters, that's awesome. So 2.8 liters, usually for women too, I found that 2.8 liters is like a good base. But you can always add more or do less. Again, it depends on your physical activity too. If you're sweating and you're working out a lot that day, you're probably gonna drink more water than if you're sedentary, staying at home on the couch. So, yeah. But just being consistent with it.
Do you make that a big part of your plan?
Yes. Yeah, it's a big part of my plan. So when I do the master behavior, it's usually where I start. If you can't drink enough water throughout the day, I mean, that's like, it's an easy fix. So I always start there. If they can master doing that every single day, then usually after the water, it's the protein. Most people don't get enough protein in, and they don't get protein in at every single meal. And protein is just really important because it keeps you satiated, it keeps your hunger cues where they need to be so that you can make a good decision on if you should eat again or how much you should eat. It's just being more in tune with your body. But that's actually usually where I start with a night master behavior. When I take that approach, it's always water, protein first. Yeah.
So I've heard a lot about intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious about it, but I haven't had the chance to ask someone who studies this day in and day out if it's legitimate, if you recommend it. I mean, my lifestyle, I work from home every single day pretty much. So,
yeah.
And I'm inches away from my kitchen, and it's
hard.
Oh my God, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it definitely is, mental a lot of the time. But
yeah.
I'm curious if that's something that you feel does work or you recommend it.
What time do you wake up in the morning?
I'm usually here during the week like 6:15, like 3 days a week.
And do you eat before you come in here?
Usually no.
And then when do you have your first meal after?
Usually right after, around like 7:30.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like are you trying to lose weight? Or if you're trying to lose weight, it's always the same thing. It's calories in versus calories out. You could do that you could eat all your calories in the morning, not eat for the rest of the day. It'll always follow that same formula. So the intermittent fasting to me, it's not the right way to go, right? Because this is the right way to go always. It's just, I call it a strategy. It's kind of like trying to trick yourself into eating less, right? Like that's all it really is. Yeah, there's benefits. I mean, people fast for days. Like you can definitely find benefits from it, but it's called breakfast because we break fast. We don't eat at night. So like your body gets its fasting in every single day. Again, if it works for your lifestyle and it's a strategy of you trying to trick yourself into I'm not going to eat for a little bit, try it out. I don't recommend it. I never recommend my clients do intermittent fasting. Actually, if I see it in their 3-day dietary journal, I'm like, why are you doing that? And also for you, you're working out that early in the morning. You gotta eat after. You gotta replenish. Else you're gonna feel tired. You're gonna feel so tired. Or when you go in at 2 o'clock when you are supposed to break your fast, you're gonna be ravenous. You're like, I need to eat. And it's just not sustainable. And it's restriction. It's heavy restriction. You're gonna be waiting for that 2 o'clock just to eat. So, don't recommend it, but it's worth a shot if you wanna try it out.
I think part of it, what comes with that is knowing how your body works too. Like I can do a fasted workout.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't eat before, they won't be able to do what we do in Orange Theory.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it also has to do with like, what kind of person you are. Are you the kind of person that will literally pass out if you don't have anything in your stomach, or are you the kind of person that will feel gross running on the treadmill, on the row, or whatever if you do have something in your stomach? So I think it doesn't work for everyone. I've used it in the past. I don't stay on it for long, but you can do it for like 2 weeks to a month. And again, you have your little window of 8 hours that you can eat and do whatever, and then the other 16 you don't. That depends on your lifestyle or what your schedule is. But like she says, like I don't know of anybody that holds on to it forever.
Yeah.
It's something that you'll do every now and then just to get a cleanse and kind of change things up, and then you really kind of let it go.
Yeah.
Is that what you've pretty much seen? Is that it's like not something you hold on to?
It's definitely not something you hold on to. I mean, I've done it when I've had to do bodybuilding competitions because, again, it's just tricking myself to not eat, and like being able to eat in a shorter window helps you when you have to eat lower calories. But and also too, like you never have to take, like there's always those approaches. You never have to do intermittent fasting for just a certain window. Your window could be 10 o'clock to 10 p.m., right? You're just shortening the window. Again, not really necessary. You're just tricking yourself into eating less calories at the end of it. And you might not even be doing that. You might just cram all the food because you're supposed to just eat the same amount of food in that window. But, yeah.
When you make like a regimen for someone, do you change the calories based on if they're working out or not? Like, are they getting more calories when they're working out, or is it the same every day?
Usually people don't know how many calories they're eating when they come to me. Some people do. Some people come to me, they're like, this is all my macros, which makes it very easy for me, thankfully. But when it comes to that, I'll give you an example. Does anyone use MyFitnessPal? Okay, a lot of you use. So MyFitnessPal tells you if you plug in your watch, like, oh, I burned 500 calories, like that means I can eat 500 calories. No. That's what you already do, right? So if someone already works out, and like they come to me, they don't come to me for training, right? They already work out, they already do their own thing. That's constant. That's a variable that stays constant. So I'm looking for variables to change, and I'm only going to change one variable. I'm not going to mess with that. If your output of the day or your output of that workout might be different today than it is tomorrow. You might come in here, I don't know, maybe get a lot of slap points one day, and then the next day don't get as many slap points. You know what I mean? Just based off your level of effort. I'm not going to keep changing your calories based off your level of effort every day. Yeah, but your training, like especially when you're trying to lose weight, your training is it's priority. It's the same. You don't go back on your training. You should nail down your training first, make sure that you have it, and then you start worrying about other things from there, right? You don't do extra cardio if you can't nail down your training that you do here, right? Your extra activities. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anyone else? Yeah.
What do the meal plans look like? So, like right now, I feel like I'm gone like 12 hours a day, and then I go to the gym after work. So by the time I get home, it's not that I'm not really motivated; it's just more exhausted because I have to cook dinner, and but then I got to prepare for the rest of the week. So, how do you make modifications, like if you go to a busy work schedule?
Well, to me, there's never an excuse of a busy work because again, that's environment. We all have an environment that we have to work around. So sometimes it's harder than others. 12 hours it's a beastly day. There's no excuse for me. I think when you have kids, it's harder. You have to cook for other people. That's definitely more challenging. But there's services where you can have people make your food, and it can always be there. So if that's always there, right? Like there's meal prep services, there's Hummus Fit, Eat Better Meals, it's all on the island. If you have places like that, there's no excuse to not have your meals prepped because you just pay for someone else to do it, right? When you work 4 days a week?
5.
You work 5 days a week? Is it Monday through Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sunday's your day. Pre-plan everything. You go grocery shopping, you get everything that you need to do on the weekend. Sunday night, have it planned out. Obviously that might only last you like 3 or 4 days, but you're just gonna have to make the time, right? But you just have to make time to do it. It's not fun, it's not exciting, but that's the answer. You just have to make time to do it. If it's a priority for you. And if it's not, you lose in the cycle. Yeah, that's a good question though.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Anybody else? No? All right, well, let's give Courtney another round of applause. After and exchange information, you can certainly do that. And thank you again for coming. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me. The studio is very cool. I've never been to Orange Theory before, so this is very nice. Yeah.
Come to a class.
I know. I get my butt kicked. She goes tomorrow.
All right, don't be shy, guys. Talk to her if you want.